I jolted awake in pure terror. My legs were gone. In their place were mechanical legs attached directly to me. I panicked. I completely lost control. I kicked the door in front of me with all my strength, and the impact shattered it open instantly. I ran out into the street, only to see armed men waiting outside with guns pointed directly at me. But then I felt this unbelievable power rushing through my new legs. In a single instant, I crossed hundreds of meters. My speed was insane. Bullets were fired at me, but they couldn't even catch up. My name is Nick, and until a few days ago, I was just a student at the Massachusetts Institute of Technology. I was a topper in my studies: hacking, astronomy, geography. There wasn't much I didn't know. Since childhood, I suffered from a disease in my legs. I spent most of my life walking with crutches. That day, I was on a road trip with my girlfriend Haley and my best friend Jonah. We were helping Haley move her belongings. Out of nowhere, I received a message from a mysterious hacker. We had clashed online many times before, but this time was different. He had hacked Haley's laptop and was monitoring her every move. I immediately started tracing his location. Jonah wanted us to find the hacker and deal with him once and for all, but honestly, my mind was already messed up. Deep down, I felt Haley wanted to leave me because of my condition. I thought this entire trip was just an excuse for a breakup. As we drove, the hacker kept sending us pictures of our own car taken from traffic cameras. It felt like he was watching our every move. Eventually, the GPS signal led us to an isolated cabin in the middle of nowhere. Jonah and I went inside and started searching the place while recording everything. Then suddenly, Haley screamed outside. I rushed out. Haley was floating in the air. Before I could even react, a blinding white light flashed directly into my face, and then everything went black. I have no idea how much time passed after that. When I opened my eyes again, I was sitting in a wheelchair. My whole body felt numb. Sitting in front of me was a man wearing a hazmat suit. His name was Paulus. He told me he was going to help restore my memory. According to him, we had come into contact with alien life forms, and we might have become infected. For days, doctors kept questioning me, but nothing made sense anymore. All I wanted was to see Haley and Jonah, but nobody would tell me anything. Then one morning, while they were taking me to another room, I suddenly saw Haley lying unconscious on a bed. I tried to reach her, but they wouldn't let me near her. Later, after returning to my room, I suddenly heard Jonah's voice coming from another room nearby. I called out to him immediately. I told him, "Today I saw Haley, but they wouldn't let me meet her, and I still can't feel my legs." Jonah told me the doctors had given him some kind of strange drink, and since then, his heart didn't feel normal anymore. That's when we made a decision. Whatever happened in this place, we would share everything we discovered with each other. From that moment on, I started paying attention to every detail around me. I memorized which codes opened which doors, which staff members were allowed near us, which routes connected through the facility. Then the doctors called me in again. They placed different shapes and objects in front of me, testing my understanding of colors and patterns, but I refused to cooperate. I looked them straight in the eyes and said, "Until you let me see Haley, I'm not telling you anything." Eventually, they took me to her, but it didn't matter. Haley was still trapped in a coma. I returned to my room and started telling Jonah everything that happened, but suddenly, his voice stopped. At the same time, strange experiments were being performed on animals somewhere else in the facility. Then suddenly, the lights went out. Someone had escaped. I immediately hid inside a dark bathroom. When the power came back, guards dragged me outside. That's when I noticed something terrifying. Deep claw marks were carved into the walls. Later, I confronted one of the doctors and demanded to know where Jonah was, but the doctor calmly told me Jonah was never brought here. I couldn't believe it. "That's impossible," I said. I talked to him, but the doctor refused to explain anything else. Back in my room, I kept calling out to Jonah. No response. That's when I realized the truth. Jonah had escaped, and at that moment, I made my decision. I was getting out of that place too, and I was taking Haley with me. Over the past several days, I had secretly memorized every route, every code, every possible exit. Finally, I made my move. I escaped with Haley and made it all the way to the final door, but just before we could get out, the doctor appeared, and everything went black again. When I woke up, I was lying on a bed beside Haley. Before I could even touch her, the staff grabbed me. Haley lost consciousness again. That's when I snapped. I started fighting everyone around me. During the struggle, I fell off the bed onto the floor, and that was when I finally saw the truth. My real legs had been completely removed, replaced with robotic legs. But for the first time in my life, I could walk. The power inside those legs was unbelievable. Using their strength, I smashed the door apart. Anyone who got in my way, I attacked while pushing forward through the facility. Haley escaped with me. As we went down an elevator, the doctor tried stopping me. He warned me that if I left the facility, the aliens would become a danger to me, but I didn't listen. After running through a long tunnel, Haley Haley and I finally escaped outside. The moment we stepped out, Haley regained consciousness, but when we looked around, there was nothing. Just an endless, deserted wasteland stretching for miles. Eventually, we reached a road and managed to stop a car driven by an old woman. At first, she seemed normal, but after some time, she started saying strange things. Then, suddenly, she stopped the car in the middle of the road and started laughing in the creepiest way possible. Haley and I immediately got out. Nearby, we found a gas station. I made Haley sit inside a truck while I tried using a phone to call home, but the phone was broken. Then suddenly, I noticed the truck driving away, with Haley still inside. I instantly realized the driver worked for the doctor, so I ran after the truck. Thanks to my robotic legs, my speed was insane. I caught up to the truck almost immediately, but just as I reached it, the driver opened the door and knocked me onto the road. Still, I refused to stop. I got back up and chased the truck again. Even at full speed, the truck couldn't outrun me. Inside the truck, Haley found a gun and pointed it at the driver. Together, we threw him out and escaped with the truck ourselves. After driving for hours, we suddenly reached a dead end. The road just ended, so we turned back, but somehow we ended up returning to the exact same road again. That's when we noticed a visitor center nearby. Inside, we found a map of the area, and according to the map, there was only one road in the entire region. Nothing made sense anymore. Meanwhile, Haley's condition kept getting worse, so we decided to stay there for the night. That night, the doctor's men suddenly arrived at the visitor center. Haley and I hid in the shadows, and while hiding, we saw Jonah, the same Jonah who had escaped earlier, but now his arms had been transformed into robotic arms. Suddenly, everything made sense. Those deep claw marks in the facility, Jonah made them. Then I noticed something else. The same number written on my arm was also written on Haley's neck. Jonah explained that if the numbers were added together, they formed 51, Area 51. He believed the scientists were experimenting on us using alien technology. My robotic legs, Jonah's robotic arms. To them, we were nothing more than lab rats. The next morning, after the guards left, we escaped together in a truck. Eventually, we reached a military checkpoint. The soldiers activated a giant pillar system that trapped the truck. Jonah rushed toward the control room to hack the system, but before he could disable it, a bullet shattered his glasses. His vision became blurry. He couldn't enter the code anymore. So instead, using the immense strength of his robotic arms, Jonah smashed the massive pillar apart with pure force. The path opened. Haley and I escaped, but Jonah stayed behind. Bullets tore through him again and again. Watching him sacrifice himself broke us completely, but we kept moving forward. Eventually, we reached a gigantic bridge, and standing in the middle of it was the doctor. Before our truck could reach him, his men threw spikes onto the road. The tires exploded. The truck flipped violently. Haley was badly injured and lost consciousness. Then suddenly, a helicopter arrived and took her away. I was badly injured too, but somehow, I forced myself back onto my feet. That's when I noticed the doctor's name tag, Damon, and suddenly, I realized something terrifying. Spelled backward, Damon became Nomad, the mysterious hacker, the one who had manipulated us from the very beginning. Finally, he admitted everything. He confessed that he hacked our college servers and framed me and Jonah. He admitted that they hacked Haley's account to lure us there intentionally. Then he revealed the horrifying truth. They were using alien technology on humans, and out of every test subject, I was the most successful. My body had fully adapted to the robotic legs. Hearing all of that filled me with rage. Using every ounce of power in my robotic legs, I charged toward the bridge at impossible speed, faster and faster, until suddenly I crashed into something invisible, an invisible wall. The impact sent me flying through to the other side. When I turned around, the doctor removed his helmet, and that was when I saw the truth. He wasn't human. He was a robotic alien. Then I looked ahead of me and saw outer space. That's when I finally understood everything. I was never on Earth. I was inside an alien spaceship. The ship's number was 23,541, the exact same number written on my arm and on Haley's shoulder, which meant this was never Area 51 at all. It was an alien ship, and humans were being used as experiments for robotic alien technology, and that was the horrifying truth behind everything.